And salutations, Earthlings, listening to the Sneaker History Podcast. I'm Robbie. This is Rohit, and we're going to give you maybe more of a bite-sized episode today. Rohit, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I mean, we're still in the afterburner of Halloween, so why not give us a fun-size episode to commemorate the fun-size candy you're probably still snacking on?
Oh, yeah. And Rohit, maybe you got to invoke dad tax this year with the candy?
As a pre-diabetic, I try to be a very lenient governor of the dad tax, but put it this way, there's nothing more disappointing than taking your under 3-year-old child to trick-or-treat, and, the world is their oyster. They open the door. They have their entire pick of the litter. Sometimes, if the people are nice, they'll let them get a second handful. And you're guiding them towards your candy. And what they do is they take your favorite candy, show it to you, and then just chuck it back in the basket. Like, you old man.
Oh, that's rough. As a candy giver, the past couple of years, we had more this year instances of kids saying the first thing out of their mouth, not being trick or treat, but how many am I allowed to take? That was a regular question, which is cracked me up.
But I put that on the parents because we made it an effort to make sure that our trick or treat party, which is 4 kids deep and 8 parents deep, like, this is proper protocol. You have to say trick or treat first, and then you can get down to the brass tacks of it all.
Yeah.
What's the best thing that you saw in your candy giving experience this year?
There was a dinosaur with like a Minecraft spin on it. I didn't get it. The kid was really into it though. That same kid though just stared at me for a solid 15 seconds when I opened the door, and we just looked at each other, and I said, "What do you say?" And he said, "Thank you." And I hadn't even given a piece of candy yet. And I said, "No." And he said, "Oh, trick or treat." So it's adorable stuff all around.
Yep. And speaking of adorable, we're probably going to talk about the most adorable release of the year, and that is the Doernbecher shoe.
Yeah, there's a lot of good Doernbecher stuff, man. This might be a better year. But before we jump all the way into that, I've been rocking some shoes. I'll start us off with some rocking and copping.
Go for it.
Actually, I got to pull out this shoe, and I do just about every Halloween because it's not Halloween-y at all, but it gives off big Beetlejuice vibes, and that's the Reebok, formerly known as the Kamikaze, now called the Hurrikaze, and it just always gives off Beetlejuice, and also that one lady in the Halloween realm with like the black Marge Simpson like hair with like the white.
The Bride of Frankenstein.
Yes, Bride of Frankenstein vibes. So I wore these during the Halloween time and just kind of kept that going. And then for my coppin', I had a shoe come in that I did not know I needed, but now I don't know how I could live without, especially after playing Spider-Man 2 on PS5. We have a non-related collab with that video game, but it's Spider brand. Think outdoor wear Spider. Like outdoor gloves, helmets, jackets, and such. It's a Nano X5 collab with Spider, and these puppies are waterproof, winterized, has all the specs on the inside. Water resilient, speed lacing, 4-way stretch material, 5-rim outsole, and just a banger. So there's spider webs on the side. And if you've played some Spider-Man 2 on PS5, then you have most likely played around with the different costume variants they have. These shoes give me big Miles costume variant vibes. But yeah, it's that Spider. If you're watching and you can see the logo, it's like the outdoor Spider. But these puppies are going to get a lot of play in Portland. They have a nice little like heel attacher, a carabiner like thing on the back. A shoe I didn't ever know. They come out soon. I haven't gotten even really any like
material
press stuff on it. No press briefings on it, but they're just like, I've been playing the hell out of that game. Then these came in and it's been raining cats and dogs. And I was just like, it's fucking perfect.
I mean, not only that, Robbie, as a season ticket holder of the Portland Trailblazers, I figure what better shoe to show your love to your second favorite team in the entire association.
It does really, especially with the silver hit, it gives you Trailblazer, yeah, fitting in more than one way. Rohit, anything on your radar? Anything on your feet recently?
Yeah, so on my feet, I did a daddy-daughter costume around these bad boys, the Spider-Verse 2 ones, whatever the hell we want to call them. But there was a cute character in that movie by the name of Mayday Parker, and her dad was Peter B. Parker. And there was also an Indian Spider-Man whose name I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce, even though I'm from that region. But I figure if there's a multiverse, that means there's a distinct possibility that there's a Pavitr B. Parker, so that's who I was. And my daughter got to be Maya Day instead of May Day, so that was fun. And then for my copping, my Sabrina Ionescu won Brett the Hitman Hearts, aka the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, or the excellence of executions, whatever you want to call them. I love the color blocking because usually when you make a shoe on Nike by You, they always have to throw one aspect of their color blocking off, so they make people realize that this is in fact a Nike by You colorway and not a general release. But kudos to them for allowing me to rock the whole way I wanted to, and I've gotten a lot of compliments on these.
You have now done 2 pairs or 1 pair of ID Sabrinas?
Just one.
Just one, but you have 3 pairs total now.
I have 3 pairs. I have the initial launch gray colorways. I've got the photons, which I've yet to lace up in, and these are slowly turning into my beaters for the season, but I need to kind of keep them clean because they are very clean.
And you can't over abuse something you love. Sometimes you got to let it breathe. You can't wear it too much. But the Nike by You options on that and the Air Maxes have been a hot Discord discussion topic. So check those out. A lot of great, it's a positive hot. Like people have been loving the options, and turnaround has been oddly fast, right? Did you get
Very fast. I think this one took about 4 weeks total, and they're doing the thing that I didn't think was possible, which is making Nike ID great again. Because lo and behold, we've been talking about the fact that there are certain models that aren't even available for customization, and I get that you want to accentuate the fact that you're a pinnacle brand, and within a pinnacle brand, there are pinnacle shoes that don't deserve to be customized by the hoi polloi like you and myself. But I'm so glad that the Sabrina is at that perfect price point that if I like a general release of a colorway, I can get it, no questions asked. If I want to spend a little bit extra and make it my own, I can do that as well. And nobody's the wiser because it truly is what seems to be the most agreeable and most accessible shoe, not only by people like you and I, but even countless people in the league. Like I can not even tell you how many articles I've read in the past week around how many people are moving to this shoe, which I think really is an indicator of a sea change that I never thought in a million years that a predominantly pro-male sport has been captivated by a shoe and a silhouette that was inspired by the female. But that speaks to the hallmark and the value of a great design.
Very much so. That's a great thing. I'm actually returning my first pair of Nikes in a long ass time this weekend.
Which ones?
I got a pair of Air Max 1 premiums, super on sale. Nike did a flash sale last week, and they came in and they're just not up to snuff. And they're only $65, so it's not like a financial burden holding on to them. But I looked at them, put them on. The heel cupping didn't really fit right, and I was like, just let it go. So don't be afraid to let the ones you love on your feet and the ones you kind of just like go.
Yeah, fair.
So really briefly, this is an odd release. Just wanted to touch on it. Portland Rapper and Amine and New Balance are set to have their second release, this time on a New Balance 610S. Kind of like a Cocoony, again, Nike Air Cocoony, those slip-on kind of vibes. Those have been very popular recently. But there's 3 colors releasing, only 3 ways to get the shoes. Releasing physically in Portland, Oregon, New York City, and online on Amine's personal store. Believe there's only 610 total pairs. No, 500. Oh, duh. He's Portland area code's 503. There's 503 total pairs. So a green, a brown, and a yellow. Check those out. Had to plug that as a semi-Portland based podcast. But now the nitty gritty. Over the past couple years, we found ourselves talking less and less about the Nike Doernbecher collection. There hasn't been too many completely all-star bangers out there. Outside of a shoe we talk about kind of a lot, the Vomero from last year, the Vomero 2022. The Jordan 5 didn't really get a lot of love. I think there was a Dunk also, but
There was a Dunk, the Jordan 1, there was a Foamposite as well. And this is a subject that's near and dear to my heart because it's one of those few things at Nike that I still feel captures the essence of the company, which is trying to inspire. And when you've inspired people through literally thousands of professional athletes, like what is that term that truly invigorates your heartstrings? And that's Nike partnering with the Doernbecher Hospital, which is a local hospital that takes in terminally ill kids and allows them to be a designer around certain silhouettes. So I agree with you, Robbie, that, okay, from a hypebeast perspective, there may not be that much attention or captivation for people to buy some of these. But I always tell people, if you do have the money, it's a charity worth investing in. And the smile that you see on these kids when you hear them talk about the product is worth its weight in gold.
100,000%. And it's not even, at least to you and I and a lot of listeners, about them being a hype. Just, it's about them, in my opinion, being able to find that nexus point of childish inspiration and execution. So I have no qualms at all with a kid wanting to make their shoe however they want to. It's not for me, it's for them. So I'm never going to be a negative Nancy on that front. But even thinking back to like 2017's blue Doernbecher Foamposite, not Foamposite, Air Up Tempo. Those are really cool. The Jordan 1 from 2021 was pretty darn cool. There was a Vapor Max from 2017 that was also pretty darn nice. There was a Dunk from 2018 with like a chicken on the back that was also quite cute. There's been great stuff, but I feel like this year really has a great assortment of shoes. There's the usual suspects like, a Dunk, but a couple options out there that you don't get to see every year. And let's kind of just go through some of them. Let's start off with probably the crowd favorite, the Air Jordan 3 by a young boy named Hugo. He's a Seattle Seahawks fan. His nickname is Juice. So he has like dripping juice, and that's kind of paid homage throughout. The outsole says, "It's okay to be different." I think that's a fantastic story to always keep telling, just to be yourself. But these, for obvious reasons of being a Jordan 3, but also just being a rare instance of good-looking Seattle Supersonics, Seattle Seahawks gear. Like, I'm going to be trying to buy this Jordan 3 to not only support Hugo, but to actually own a rare piece of good-looking Nike Seahawks gear. So they're fire. What do you think?
No, I mean, they are absolutely probably the pick for most people's eye in terms of this collection. And like you said, if you're giving one kid the ability to customize a Jordan 3, every other kid in a sense has to climb a mountain because it's such an iconic silhouette that is universally adored. The other factor about this particular model is I love the fact that Hugo has a penchant for gold chains. And because Robbie had mentioned the fact that the man's name is Juice, there's a JL on the back. So they truly get the storytelling right. And I know that's my bugaboo. That's my broken recordism, if you will, when it comes to this podcast. Anytime Nike hits it out of the park with storytelling, they truly are a brand on their own. And this is the latest incidence of that. Instant of that.
It's an incident too, because there's like stuff dripping off of it. So something, maybe there was an incident. Maybe Nickelodeon ooze was involved. Who knows? But the front, the tongue region, the whole front part of the shoe looks like it might be either glittery or 3M. So I'm very interested in that.
I mean, not only that, there's also the glow in the dark flex as well. I mean, it goes to the theme of the shoe, which is unique, be different. And to your point, we may have a little bit of Volt fatigue when it comes to Nike, but when they first dropped, when Nike first got the NFL contract and they wanted to kind of point to this mission statement that they had of, hey, we're going to renovate and reinvigorate certain fan bases, I think the Seahawks are example 1A of that. Like, they were the one that benefited the most from that identity shift from switching from a non-Nike brand to Nike brand.
Yeah. And I'll also just kind of to finish it off, it says Juice on the back. on the plastic heel tab, everything about that shoe has really grown on me. At first, I was like, that ooze thing isn't for me, but fuck it, it is for me. It's over the top in a right way. Next here we have an Air Max 1 by a young girl named Haley. She loves ice cream and rainbows. Who doesn't? And it kind of has, homages to her charm bracelet she likes to wear. Her name's written on it. Nice little gold swoosh. But I could see a really cute girl dad moment happening here. Do you have any thoughts on this lovely Air Max 1?
Here's the thing. I will never take umbrage with this particular collection. This may be a little too much for me, but if my baby girl was a big fan of the color pink, this is the shoe I would secretly hope for her. And one other thing I'll say about Haley's collection is I really like the hoodie. And that's something I feel at times gets often ignored. We know about Doernbecher when it comes to the shoes, but shout outs to the apparel and the equipment teams as well that are working on these collections because they have some fire as well. And one last thing I will say about Haley is the fact that she's got these trinkets that you can not only wear on a bracelet, but on the shoe itself. And it includes the ice cream and her dog and a heart to kind of just symbolize the story of Haley as it's been progressing.
Yes, she listed 5 heart surgeries. So her sweatshirt has a heart on it. Kind of like a cool looking heart logo, like a LeBron-esque logo. I'm a sucker for a glittered outsole too. Her little charm bracelet has her dog, ice cream, her heart logo, her name, a high heel, the sun, a dinosaur, and a paint brush. The hoodie is actually a zip up, which I like too, and there's a nice looking backpack. The execution on that's all very, very nice. Juice's hoodie is also very nice. Don't get me wrong. Haley kind of knocked it out of the park here. Next, we have a Dunk High by Macy with her floral print and her cookie recipe on the inside of the tongue. That is so freaking cool. Looking more at the shoe here. I don't do a lot of floral. I like this though. I could see myself getting down with it. I'm always down for a good cookie recipe too. I'm a cookie fiend. There's a fanny pack too. I got to note. I also like fanny packs a lot.
This design is so excellent. I think even the relapsed Cookie Monster may take a bite of his favorite batch of cookies in homage to Macy's awesome recipe. And yeah, the details on it are so great. And yes, she likes flowers, but I can't think of another shoe that's utilized the inner tongue of a shoe the way they have with this recipe. And I want to share the recipe with you, listener, but no, I'm going to ask that you either look it up on your own or if you've got the extra cash, please buy this because this is the type of creativity that we want to showcase to the world that when we're sneakerheads, it's bigger than the shoe sometimes. It's the message behind it. And I think that's often sometimes lost because each one of these shoes that we talk about has a mantra associated with it. That's usually the kid's personal statement or its statement of intent as they're going through what some may consider to be traumatic surgeries and accidents and incidents, like I said before. But the thing that shines more than anything is the resilience and just the overall demeanor of these kids that things might not be necessarily the best for them, but they will always have a smile on their face. And the Doernbecher Project allows them to perpetuate that smile a little bit longer.
I love it. There's also a gray ribbon on there to symbolize her being a brain cancer survivor. And on the outsole, it has, she believed she could, so she did. I think that's a great message, too. Peeping the cookie recipe, looking like a winner. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. It's a chocolate chip cookie. But the execution of a chocolate chip cookie, you got to have it crispy on the outside, soft in the middle. I believe in Haley's recipe. It looks pretty darn tasty. This
Macy's.
is also...
Sorry.
No, go
Sorry,
ahead.
Robbie, Macy's recipe. Haley was the previous one.
Oh, pardon me. Yes. Macy's recipe. Excuse me. The next one here, physically, hits close to home for both Rohit and I, but these look very usable in the Pacific Northwest also. We have an ACG Mountain Fly 2 Low by a young boy named Garrett. It has a lot of ACG vibes to it, like a Mountain Fly would. He was born 15 weeks premature, and that came with its complications. And he has now figured that out. Oh my gosh, I almost said figured that out. He's now just grown, and now we're here with this beautiful shoe. It has an added mud-like exterior to look like it's been through what looks like a Wednesday in Portland. But there's a tree line going through it. A very cool windbreaker. It looks like a waterproof windbreaker with like Thor's hammer on there. Not just like trees on the mud guard, but like a little mountain and sky silhouette going on. Even appears to be possibly a waterproof hat. That's must be in a chest that says checkmate, and there's a king's crown on the back of said hat. Says Team Garrett on the inside of the windbreaker. Just the homages and attention to detail on all these items are freaking insane. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things as well, because as I'm reading his bio, everything you mentioned, Robbie, he does like hiking. He's a big chess fan. He collects historic hats. I don't know what a historic hat is, but I want to learn. And that's through the power of storytelling that Garrett's shoe has kind of showcased to us. And put it this way, they did such a good job on those mud splatters that I'm like, who okayed these photos? Because they look filthy, but that's what they're supposed to look like. And Garrett truly is a resident of the Pacific Northwest because he knows that you have to show your badge of honor, which is the mud splatter on your shoe. So he's kind of doing you a solid if you buy the shoe because he's giving you the outline of where the mud splatter would look like and what it would look like when you wear it on that hike to whatever falls are near your local Pacific Northwest area.
Willamette for us, or whatever it falls. So what I think is funny, maybe a historical hat is just like a $60 vintage hat at a secondhand store. Who knows? That's also very Portlandy. This hat's from 1994, Talladega, $80. So very cool though. Did a great job there, Garrett. On the next one here, we have a Cortez by a girl named Sydney. She suffered from arthritis. Used her own hand-drawn artwork throughout the shoe. That's fantastic. There's resin on the heel to represent the water droplets of a pool, glow-in-the-dark accents, and there's water ripples throughout. This is also a winner in my book. I love anything. Like, there's a pair of Reeboks with like fake rain on them. Those always kind of touched me in a cool way. Thought they were really nice. This set here has a sweatpants and a t-shirt to go with them. Kind of like a Hawaiian print too. I'm feeling a lot of these. Like, what the hell?
The t-shirt is fire. No, I'm like, put it this way. The collection has been popping even more than usual because I don't know about the rest of you. Usually when I go through the Doernbecher catalog, as we are kind of, there's always like, okay, if I had to get one thing from each kid, I would do this, I would do that. It's hard this year. Everybody brought it. And that t-shirt might be one of the best t-shirts I've seen Nike make in a hot minute. And something about...
For me... Something about what? What about the shirt?
No, I was just going to say this. There's just something about it that resonates with me that truly amplifies her message of keep swimming because she knows that a lot of us are going to go through things in life. And sometimes the best way to get through them is just put your head down, keep swimming and keep just working through it. So once you do get through that, you get this nice little pastel sunset that is commemorated on this t-shirt.
Yeah. And I also want to give a shout out to like Nike's R&D because earlier this year, we had that blue glow-in-the-dark Vomero, and these having a water ripple glow-in-the-dark. It looks like somebody had cool pool lighting installed and splashed around and put that on an outsole. I have not seen that effect on a shoe before. That's something different in a good way. I like those a lot. That kind of messes me up. Those might be, those.
Do I hear you for two pair?
Yeah.
As Nell say.
I might be a two-pair, and yeah, I like those a lot. And last but certainly not least, we have the Go Fly Ease by Christopher. It has Mount Fuji on the tongue. I know you're a big Fly Ease proponent. Do you have this? You've had this model before, right?
I've had this model. I've bought it for every single in-law parent that I have. I can't speak highly of this model, and this would be my second pair or my first pair because this is my favorite shoe of the collection. And to your point, the storytelling details are kind of what separated from me with even the likes of the aforementioned Doernbecher 3. The shoe is clearly inspired by Japanese culture because Chris has a love of Japanese culture as we're kind of reading through the promotional material. And there's a sweet image of a panda within the insole. It's his favorite animal, and the beach also represents his happy place. And one thing I do know about Chris is he's a Raiders fan, and usually as a Chiefs fan, they are sworn to be my mortal enemies. But the highest compliment I can pay Chris is I will support you and your Raider supporting endeavors because this is a great shoe and it's for a great cause.
Yeah, the inside of like the heel region is a panda like hugging, like reassuring them, hugging them over the shoulder, and that's adorable and super cool. Also, like the Mount Fuji Nike logo on the top of the tongue,
Right.
the sun behind it. That's one of the best logos Nike's done. They needed just to put that on a lot of stuff. That looks really good. That said Raiders jersey is number 14. It just says "dude" on the back.
He's that dude. Say no more.
I love it. Maybe he was born in 2014. But yeah, he's that probably is why he's that dude.
He's actually 14 years old, so maybe that's the reason behind it. But either way, we'll take it just because, like I said, the man's that dude. And when you design a shoe this cool and this detail driven, you can't help but feel the love. So please, listener, I know I sound like a bad promo, but if you are in the market for a new pair of shoes and you're willing to spend a little bit extra, the Doernbecher collection is where I would point to you.
Yeah, I started with the Jordan 3, but it might have to be Sydney's Cortez. Those are
Same. Jordan 3 or this Fly Ease for me.
I've had holy shit, I've never owned a Cortez.
Follow Doernbecher on all your social medias to get an even greater look into all these shoes and apparel and equipment that we talked about.
Hey everyone, this is Nick again. Before you take off, do us a solid and head over to Apple Podcasts to leave us a review. Give us a rating on Spotify and Amazon Music, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we have even more video content coming soon. Speaking of new content, we have an amazing community of sneaker enthusiasts that hang out in our Sneaker History Discord on a daily basis. While sneakers is a connection point that brought us all together, we've all discovered countless shared passions that we have in common with each other. We recently launched a couple of new podcasts directly from our community. One of them is a Formula One podcast. If you're an F1 fan like me, the Exhaust Notes podcast is your weekly fix of Formula One fun. It's hosted by myself, Rohit Malhotra, and Todd Yates. New episodes drop every Tuesday. I've been wearing fitted hats for years and collecting my favorite teams since I was a little leaguer. It has been awesome to see so many new fans getting into fitteds in recent years. Crown and Stitch is our new talk show about fitted hats with Dexter, Keith, and myself, where we talk about fitted hats, snapbacks, throw in some obscure hats because we all kind of like some funky stuff once in a while, don't we? Copping, collecting, and so much more. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Hit the links in the show notes for this episode to give our new shows a listen, and be on the lookout for more new podcasts dropping soon. Last but not least, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Thank you all for the support, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.